Hello, this is Serafina, sometimes known as Serafina the singer, sometimes known as Serafina the voice. Happy New Year. I just want to jump on here. I'm not going to say a lot, but I want to point out some things. We're going into a new year and some food for thought. If this is a year where you think that, you want more of the oppression that's happening and that you think that people deserve to be treated like this, then maybe you want to go back to 1950s. If this is a year where you think that people should be mass incarcerated because of the color of their skin, well, then maybe you want to go back to slavery times. You know, but the fact is that's not possible. You can't have slavery back. You can't subjugate a whole part of the nation because of somebody else's feelings or somebody else's belief structure or somebody else's power. I just want to ask you one thing. And you can see I got a lot of us have matching luggage because we've been losing sleep over it. You know, is this the time? We're going into a new year where people think they should reenact the debtor's prison. Or people are going into default on their college loans because they can't afford to have a place to live. Do you think that they should be institutionalized because they can't make a living? Now we're going to start punishing the poor. And yeah, you probably noticed I didn't wear any makeup. No, I didn't wear any makeup. I didn't get dressed up. And I'm not celebrating. These conventions and holidays that we've been celebrating are all based on what? What? A capitalistic need? For what? To subjugate the people and the workers? To push people into a corner? So that we can perpetually be in some kind of servitude to a system that doesn't support any of us? Only the people at the top aren't suffering right now. And for those people, honestly, sorry to say it, they go after themselves. Anybody who voted for this, they can go after themselves too. And they think that it's okay because people who are being arrested by ICE, they didn't come here legally. There are American citizens right now being detained and arrested. People who've been in jail the better part of a year for being brown. There are children who are disappeared. I have been victim of hate crimes all my fucking life. I don't sit here in glam makeup trying to sell you an idea of beauty. This is the face of somebody who's been through hell and back again. And not only was I gone through hell and back again, I went back down to hell like Harriet Tubman and I saved people that I could. But you know what? It's not worth my sanity or my life and limb. People actually have to get together, band together, and stand up for each other. I watched as I was nearly lynched in public, in broad daylight, and I saw my neighbors draw the curtains and turn away. And now they wanted me to still be friends with them. Oh, go, go. People said to me, oh, well, why don't you stop? Why don't you be quiet? Why don't you stop making noise? Because really what they wanted was they wanted me to stop standing up for myself. Well, if I did that, I'd be dead already. And God knows that I was not created to be somebody's footstool. And as things get harder, I want to say that this year is going to get better. I want to say that this year is going to get better, but I don't believe it is. I think we're in the thick of it. This is the time that they say, on the ladder of fascism or the descent into fascism, where they're hiding Anne Frank in an attic. This is where people are being dragged off the street and others keep walking because they're too afraid to speak up. This is the part where people are telling each other, oh, you better be quiet because you'll be next. Well, you know what? This is the time. I'm not speaking out of desperation. I'm speaking out of exhaustion. I worked my whole life to have nothing at all. And we're still supposed to go at it with the same kind of enthusiasm as, oh, the next job is going to be great. guess what? The American dream has dried up. And especially for black women, black people, Latino people, what the hell is there to look forward to in this country? I asked my friends and neighbors, why would you vote for this? Why would you accept this? To which I realized that even if they're my friend, they're still deeply biased. And as long as people could sit by and watch their black and brown neighbors be completely oppressed, I don't feel that there is a need for me to, make nice, play patty cake, and protect people's feelings about it. No, I mean, when I went through hell over and over again, people told me to shut up and take it. White people told me to shut up and take it. That I shouldn't stand up for myself. Why wouldn't I stand up for myself? I don't see anybody standing up for me. There was a day when I had an aneurysm in my brain. I had a brain aneurysm that almost burst. We called 911, and they said I was a black man high on PCP. Here in Nelliston, New York, Montgomery County Dispatch did that to me. And they came here with a gun in my house and nearly shot me to death. And then they injected me against my will in my driveway with something they call booty juice. And it's an illegal cocktail of Haldol, Benadryl, and Ativan, meant to knock your knees out of you. And then they took me to the emergency room, and I didn't receive any medical care. Actually, they beat me up, strapped me down, and then locked me up for 3 days. I see people are walking away because it's too much for them. Could you imagine if it happened to you? But you're gonna walk away. You don't want to hear me. You don't want to hear somebody talk about their brush with death and their actual testimony about how the system is uneven and it is dangerous and it is rigged, the violence against black and brown bodies. And we are here at yet another year. And I said to a friend today, if I was standing in front of Dr. King, I would do nothing but cry, because all my life I've dedicated to helping a little person, to civil rights, to uh, creating respect for all. And this is what we get in return. I was a civil servant nearly all my life. I was a New York State teacher for nearly 20 years, and they dissolved my pension. I taught civil rights every year for nearly 20 years. And now I cannot sit and teach that same lesson because I don't believe it. It's all a lie. It is all a lie. All of our freedom has been sold off to the highest bidder. And right now there are people who are in detention centers. Their work is being farmed out and used for basically slave labor so that they can get one phone call a week. They're working an 80-hour week, probably, whatever, for one phone call a week. These systems have been set up to gut our morale. Now I stand here and, I'm not playing the victim. You know why? Because I done had enough. I may be only 45 years old, but I feel like a 65-year-old black woman. I feel as old as Harriet Tubman. And yet nonetheless, people still come at me saying, "Oh, why can't you soften your message?" What is a softer message? How can you soften a message of stop the violence? How can you soften a message of equality? You cannot gently pull back from demanding your rights. If we are going to leave it up to the master society, and you know who I'm talking about, to decide who gets to live and who gets to die, who gets health care and who doesn't, who gets chemotherapy and who doesn't, who gets insurance and who doesn't, who dies in childbirth and who doesn't, who gets to keep their children and who doesn't, who gets to stay in America and who gets to work and who doesn't. Who are these people making the rules? And I guarantee they don't look like me. It has been a nonstop struggle every single day, and it's meant for people like me to give up. But I'm not gonna. And I hope that somewhere out there's somebody watching and it inspires them to speak up, because this is crap. This is absolute crap. I don't mean to be negative on this joyous night. What are we celebrating? Another year of oppression? Another year of children dying? Right now in America, people are living in their cars in the dead of winter and their children are freezing to death. That is real. Now we say Auld Lang Syne and all the people that have gone, all the people that have died, and all the people that right now are in detention centers and they can't even be found by their family. My God, there are people up, uptown, and they're gonna go and get dressed and be fancy tonight and drink champagne at the expense of all of the little people that make this country great, that make this country a place worth living in. And I ask myself, how could it gotten this bad? How are our rights got gutted? And I see, oh, victim mentality. Do you know what? Reject mass psyops. You're an asshole. How about that for victim mentality? With it, you bet you got a tiny penis too. Let's see. I am angry. I'm fucking pissed. And if you're not pissed that children are being kidnapped from the streets by federal agents, you're an idiot. Come on, bring it. Reject mass psyops. Go fuck yourself. Nobody cares. You can have your fucking opinion. Go someplace else with it. Let's see. And we will report for hate speech and violence and promoting terrorism, harassment and bullying. Promoting terrorism, harassment and bullying. Let me choose one. Harassing me. Yes. And misinformation. And we'll report you. And that's what's going to happen, see? Because, see, you don't have the power. This is my platform. This is my page. See? And I don't appreciate white supremacists. And I will not only report you for hate speech and violence reported. Okay? And now, since you're not grown up enough to be here, all right, we will remove you. Go fuck yourself. That's right. Go fuck yourself. And I said it on a live. Bullying is not going to be permitted. And maybe you get off on it. And in that case, you're just a sad, sorry piece of crap. And you can go and join the KKK like all your brothers in arms who seem to hate black women. It's not a surprise anymore. We all know. We all know who you are. And I'm not afraid of you because you're just a scared person behind a keyboard typing things that you think offend me. Do you know what? Guess what? It's not creative. It shows that you have an IQ of below 78. And I really think that you should probably read a book or do something else with your time. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, so I was dealing with idiots online. Why they think that they can come into black women's lives and bully us. Guess what? You're not my employer and you're not paying me to be your entertainment. So you can go whistle Dixie. We all know that's what you want to do. We all know that's what you like. You like, the South rising again and stuff, and you can go with all your troglodyte cousins and brothers and sisters and stuff that you fornicate with in your incestuous relationships and go F yourselves. I don't know if that's succinct enough. I don't know if that makes it clear that we are not taking it anymore. That people like me, we don't deserve to be kicked around all the time. And guess what? The power that you think that you have by bullying people is fleeting. People see right through it, you know? And so before I got derailed while I was trying to, stand up to bullies, I was saying, when you're seeing people disappear from the streets every day, and you're seeing black people, lose their jobs at an alarming rate, and you accept it, guess what? We see you. We see you. We see all of you. I see right through you, and you can choose to, ignore what's happening. My question is, do you think it's going to get better by doing nothing? That's as if saying, maybe I shouldn't stand up to myself. I should stand up to the bullies. I shouldn't stand up for myself because it's hurting your peace. Do you think it hurts my peace to be attacked, to deal with violence, to be basically blacklisted? I'm not alone when I say this, I want there to be a better day, a better year tomorrow, but people are going to actually have to do something about it. They're going to actually have to gain some. I have never shied away from saying what's right and doing what's right when it came to others and it came to myself. And you know what? I don't care if these people say they're there for student loan forgiveness. You cannot tell me that an educated person would decide to torture somebody for any kind of loan forgiveness. They're torturing people because they like it. They're hurting children because they want to. They're separating families because they like it. Now, I don't want to keep anybody from their ball drop and enjoying their champagne, you know, but remember that there's people right now, maybe even your neighbors that are living in a car because of the irresponsible political decisions that have been made. There are people right now that are detained in facilities sub that are dehumanizing. And I don't care if you think that, because somebody, if somebody broke the law or they came here illegally, that goes all out the window when they're arresting Americans. Do you really think that that's acceptable for people to be tortured by? I heard a thing today. They have cameras over the bathroom, over the toilet in these internment camps. How dehumanizing. They have a processing center called a tender care facility for babies under 3. If this doesn't make your blood run cold, well then maybe you're cold blooded. I came on this live because I am disgusted, as an artist, as an activist, you know, um, what is next? Where do we go from here? I'll tell you what, there's a lot in this country I'll never trust again. I've been standing up for what was right my whole life. And I'm deeply disappointed. So, in summation, love yourself, believe in yourself, don't be somebody's step stool. You know, love is not just service. And patriotism is not just allowing people to step on you. I was, told that we all had an equal chance, but where's that equality? You know, I see that, people, left the line, or that, as soon as I start talking about things that are, DEI related, I get throttled. And this asshole probably reported me, but honestly, I don't care. Listen, don't listen. It's not really for you. It's for me to at least know that I tried. I tried to say something. I saw something. I tried to say something. I tried to do something. I tried to be something. And out of it all, I always will be. And for those people who want to demean others so that they feel better about themselves, well, I just feel pity for you. What pitiful people that have to torture others who are weaker than them, or that are in a compromised situation. How pitiful for them. I wish you the best in this new year, and I hope that things will get better. But I urge you to take action, to speak up. I urge you to be vigilant and diligent. You know, there is no reason why all of these unpopular acts should be going on in our country. And I don't care if you're a Republican, you call yourself a Republican and you think that fascism is all right. You're not a Republican. You are a Nazi. I said it. And these ICE agents are KKK members with badges. And unfortunately, a lot of our police departments are also KKK members with badges. Ask yourself this. They're pouring all of their resources into finding Antifa, which, if they Google searched it, they would know that it doesn't exist. But the KKK does exist, and they're tax exempt. They have a P.O. box, but the police can't find them for some reason. And all of these lynchings are self unalivings, right? Because black people often go out into a public square and lynch themselves. You know, I would say if it smells like, what is that? If it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. The reason they can't find the KKK is because the police departments are so deeply embedded by the KKK that they cover up all of these acts. For these lynchings that happened, they probably had a police escort. And the autopsies that didn't happen, they had a police escort. And the autopsies that the families called for proved that there's foul play in a lot of these instances. I know in my case, I was tipped off that it was the KKK. And that's how I know. And I won't tell my source. But we see you, and I'm at the point, where this is the fuck around and find out time. I feel it's pointless to keep playing nice, and at this point, kicking and screaming, and how dare they abuse my body and my rights. When I had that stroke, it was a aneurysm. Instead they beat me up, and then they tried to humiliate me for initially just a couple days while I was in the hospital, and I didn't actually get any medical treatment. But they tried to follow me and humiliate me and hurt me, steal from me for over 4 years after the fact. And the only reason that I stopped getting profiled by the police is because I reported it to the federal government, both Homeland Security, the FBI, as well as the New York State Attorney General. And I created a paper trail, which is toxic. And that if they do touch me, you people will know that who did it. It was either the police or the KKK, or, ICE dressed up, the KKK dressed up as ICE. So I just want you to know that, I value my life and I value my peace, but I don't have peace and I don't have safety. And what I had of a life had been whittled away through these acts of violence that I recovered from. Well, someone might say that I'm playing victim. No, I was the victim. I was definitely victimized. But I became the victor because I recovered. Not only did I recover, but I was blessed with the ability to stand straight again. I had to learn to walk, talk, sing, dance, play music, read a book again. And people have the nerve to come into my comment section, and have something to say about me. I don't care about the opinions of strangers. I already went through heaven and I went through hell. Anyway, I'm signing off. Happy New Year. I'm going to go watch that ball drop. Maybe next year um, we'll have something to be celebrating. But this is not a celebration. This is actually a somber day. It's a somber day in America. And I'm sad to say that I'm here and I don't know what to do about it. Because everything I've done in my whole life wasn't enough. Wasn't enough to win a living, to make a living. It shouldn't feel like a lotto to make a living. And it wasn't enough to protect myself from medical malpractice or bigotry in all its forms. And the worst form is bigotry in a badge. So I want to thank you, Montgomery County Police Department, for almost killing me and lighting a fire underneath me that I will never let die, because nobody deserves to be treated like this. I hope I inspired somebody out there. May a happy new year be in all your houses, and may this year to come light a fire under you too, to fight back, to stand up for yourself, to stand up for those that don't have a voice. God bless you, and happy new year.